wonderful people, welcome back to a new video from dry but kind of cold Netherlands. We are currently at the Veluwe at Guus's property and we have a couple of days off, so we're hanging out here, the dogs and I, and we are enjoying it so much. Thank you so much for tuning back in, and I'm so sorry I haven't posted in a couple of weeks. I have been busy fixing up the van, and that's what today's video is going to be about. A couple of videos ago I was talking about I discovered this rust when I was in Spain, and then when I started to take a closer look I felt overwhelmed and I thought I was gonna have it professionally fixed. So I got a price estimate for that, which was gonna be around 3,000 euros, which was, I think, a fair estimate. I just had to rip out a lot of stuff from the garage area so they could weld on the van. And I decided that we were gonna try and fix it ourselves, my dad and I. And if we would not succeed, I could still go to the company and have them fix it. And I'm very happy to tell you that we patched it up pretty okay. Of course, it's not as good as the company would have done it, but there was a lot more rust going on that they would not have tackled. So I would have been doing a lot of the rust treating myself upon all of the things that they would fix. So yeah, I think for now we're doing better, and she'll last 1 or 2 years hopefully. And in the meantime, I have time to save up and have a plan for what I want to do when that happens. But for now, I'm going to show you what we did. The thing is, I wanted to film all of it to bring you guys along, but we were in a really nice shed of a barn that I had arranged for us. It was super dark in there, so we were wearing headlights all the time so we could see what we're doing. But trying to get footage that was kind of nice to show you guys was really hard. And so I'm going to show you what we did and what it's looking like. And I'm really happy how it turned out. I'm really excited that we got all of the things fixed. And I'm gonna take you along and show you what we did. So there we go. Are you ready? There we go. So in addition to having rust in the wheel cases, there's also rust in other spots. And here is the before pictures of these pieces of rust that were there. And this is actually one of the worst. And we had to get all of this kit out and then treat everything. So while my dad was focusing mainly on the wheel arch, I was tackling these pieces of rust, which were a little bit intimidating, I have to tell you, but I think I managed. So first we had to take off these parts, and because the rust was behind there and breaking all sorts of things, that was a little bit hard work. So I am one of these people that usually likes to do things herself and by herself alone. And my dad helped me out for most of the days. I think he came around for 6 days helping me, which he did not know was going to be such a big chore. And it was cold out and we were in this barn, but the windows and everything were out of this barn, so it was super cold. I think it was 4 or 5 degrees at some point. I'm so thankful that there are people in my life that come to help me, and that when I decide to ask for help, which is not my favorite thing to do, that people are inclined to say yes. And I feel very grateful for the people in my life that help me out. I had 10 days off of the work that I've been doing while I'm in the Netherlands, and these people offered me their barn for 10 days, so I'm really happy that I got to spend my time in here. Now, a couple of other things that I noticed were that these little reflectors on the back side of the bumpers of my van were broken or damaged or dirty, and I decided to exchange them, and it makes such a difference. I'm so happy how that turned out. It was super easy to do, by the way. And I love these little chores, these little things that you can do to the van, which make it look way better. Sometimes even a little effort goes a long way. That did not count for the rust though. That was lots of work. And let's get back to the rust. Now, one of the reasons that I was happy that my dad is there is that he has all of these tools and he loves to use them.
And I don't really like a lot of noise and how do you say that? Like fast moving things. So I know that they are very easy to have around and that they make the job a lot easier to do. I just don't really like handling them. I can, it's just not my favorite thing to do, and my dad loves this. So as he was grinding away at the rust and getting all of the bits off, I was doing all the little the little things, and together we were making it work. But I'm really happy that he helped me out, because he did a lot of physical hard labor with the machines, but also he's not afraid of all these sparky things, and that made life a lot easier for me. Now I am taking all of these black things off the side of the van. For all of you out there that have the same van, these little white ones that you see in the corner here where all the rust is at the van, you have to screw these off from the inside. I didn't know that, so I was having a hard time getting them off, but at the doors it's the same thing. There's a screw on the inside, you can unscrew it and then it comes off way easier, but I didn't know that, so I'm trying to break it off, which is not a good thing to do. So one of the reasons why I'm taking them all off is because there are these holes on the side of the van which had some sort of patch on it, and the patch had disintegrated, or I don't know the word, but it was coming off. So that meant that there were holes. I think there were about 16 of them behind these black things, and they were a hole so water could come into the van behind the insulation. That's not a good thing. So we cleaned all of it, patched them all up with some special tape, so now it should be fine. But that's why I'm taking all of them off, to make sure that there are no more holes that are open that can get water into the van that we do not want there. Another thing that happened over the summer is that the van was parked with the backside in the sunlight, most of the sunlight, to keep most of the warmth out. And the kit that is used to attach the license plate to the van started dripping out. So there were some patches of this black kit on the other side, on the bottom side of the license plate, and I wanted to tidy that up. So I also decided to do that here, and it's just the little things that make it look a little bit nicer. So a couple of the parts that were not in the price estimate for the company to fix on the van is that the doors somehow get moisture on the inside, which makes it rust. Now, I don't know where this is coming from, so we patched it up, but it's not a solution, so this rust will return. The thing that makes it a little bit less scary for me is that the door is replaceable, so if this door would rust all the way through and not be able to salvage anymore, we could get a door elsewhere and replace this door. Now, the same thing is not happening with the other parts of the van, but with the doors, that's a little bit the spirit that I'm having. I think that what is happening is that condensation from the back windows gets somewhere in between there. I don't know exactly what is happening, but something is not functioning right at the back doors. What we did is I opened it up on the inside, so there's sort of a hole there now, so water should be able to come out there. The thing is that these doors are made to have condensation go out through the holes in the bottom, which they are still open, but because there's already rust forming in there, the water is not getting out fast enough, I think. And we cannot get inside of the door because I'm not a welder and stuff like that. So we patched this up, but this is going to look nice for a little while, but I probably have to patch this up again in the summer. But this is just cosmetic. That it's still functioning, it's still working. It's just slowly rusting away. And again, I did the pre-work, and for the hard bits, I asked my dad to fix it. He is kind of making the edges seem nice on the inside. Then he makes it so it's no longer sharp, so we can leave that part of the door open in hopes that it'll be able to air out. And we sprayed some anti-rust in there, so hopefully the rust won't develop as fast. On the other hand, if water's coming out from the outside going in, which I don't think that's how it works, it's now open, so water can go in faster. But I'm just going to keep an eye on these things. But here you can see that there's a shit ton of holes in this door. And that's not even all of what we could have opened up. But yeah, in the end, it looked very nice. So for all of the rust on the van, this is the steps that we took. First, we tried to get as much rust of it away. If there were any holes, I'm doing a little dance here with shaking the can. If there were any holes, we would patch them up with either polyester filler or polyester mats with 2K stuff that we need to use, which smells horrible. Or we would use some aluminium parts to replace some stuff on the van. And then so all the rust would be gone, then we would patch it up. Then we would use anti-rust stuff on there, multiple layers, which is what I'm shaking here. And then we would use primer and then top coat, and then hopefully that's gonna be good enough for all. But like I said, in this door we couldn't reach everything that's inside of the door, so we did spray anti-rust stuff in all of the holes that we could find, but we may not have gotten all of it. So when I got all of these black things off the side of the doors, it was really dirty behind there, so I'm cleaning that off very thorough to also check if there's any rust that we need to treat. Luckily, there was only one spot on the other side of the van that we needed some rust treated, other than on the side of these wheel casings. So that was really nice. So I'm just making everything look very nice and shiny and checking all of the little spots. And I got so many more spots. I found so many more spots of rust than I even knew that they were. So I was so happy we had 10 days to get it all done, because I really wanted to give some attention to all of it. So another thing about the van that needed to be solved is that if I would open up my sliding door, the wood that was on the inside as a finishing would scratch on the outside of the van. So now that we're patching everything up in the outside of the van, I needed to fix this so that it wouldn't scratch it up again. So I'm taking off the finish that's on the inside of the door to repaint it. And my dad actually figured out that there's a diagonal beam behind this wood. So all we needed to do is install 2 little screws diagonally, which would keep the wood in its place, which was a good fix. So now when the door opens, it no longer scratches on the outside of the van. There's not a lot of room, but just enough for it not to touch, and that's all we need. I'm really happy to say that my dad and I turned out to be a good team. I'm doing all of the detailed work and the precision work and the work that needs a lot of patience, and my dad just gets all the big guns out and he just does stuff, which makes noise and dust, and he just likes doing the big things. And then I finish all the nicer things and the details, and I think that's a really good way of working together. I'm also really happy to say that even though this was a lot of work and there were a lot of different spots that need a lot of different attention, we were blasting Christmas music and dancing and talking and getting it fixed together. And I spent long days doing lots of different things, lots of different layers, and taking care of lots of different stuff. But I'm really happy with all of the work we've put in. I think some of the parts are going to be holding up for a longer time. Some of the parts are going to need some more attention in the near future. But for now, I'm really happy that I can go into the Dutch winter knowing that for now she's doing okay and we fixed a lot of things and it's really beautiful. And here's the finished result of what she's looking like right now. I redid all of the kit seams. spent some time polishing up my headlights so they look all brand new again, which is really cool.
So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I cannot believe the amount of time we spent in fixing all of it. It was so much time. It was just so many steps you had to go through, and I think I also treated so many little spots. So I think there were like maybe 20 to 25 spots that I was treating. Also like little just pieces, but also like the bigger ones, and then it needed to dry, you needed to sand, clean, and so many things we need to do. And the inside of the wheel casings is still a little bit rough. We got all of the rust out. We had to put some aluminium patches in there, and we had to patch it up with polyester filling stuff, and it's working. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. There's lots of coatings in there, rubber coating and anti-pebble coatings, lots of coatings in there. So we're gonna keep an eye on it. I talked to the guy from the place that gave me price estimate, and I told him maybe I'll come back to you next year, but for now we kind of patched it up. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and see how it's gonna hold up, and only time will tell. So yeah, I'm really excited about how everything's looking. I feel confident that we're gonna at least last this winter. And another thing was that I discovered I had a little bit of water coming in at the side sliding door, and I thought I fixed it because I found a little bit of rust above the sliding door, so I fixed that. But then I got back into the rain and it turned out that it's not fixed. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out what's happening over there and how I can fix that. So like I always say, never a dull moment in van life, because I thought like, oh, we have it all fixed. And then we went outside and it was beautiful weather for a couple of days, which was good for the curing of all the paint and everything. And then there was the first rainfall and I had a little bit of droplets inside, and I was like, yeah, that's not good. But I'll figure out what's going on there hopefully soon, and then I'll be able to figure something out how to fix it. So I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm at the Veluwe at the moment, and I'm thinking of creating something nice Christmassy, so maybe we'll be doing that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and in the meantime, don't forget to say yes to Newvanventures.